And here we go. Week 4 is officially kicked off in the NFL season. We are ready to go with Hawks Top 10 running into week number 4 in the NFL. Welcome to Sports Talk with Hawk. I am Hawk. It is a beautiful Thursday evening. Getting ready for football. By the time you guys are listening to this, it is Thursday night. Hopefully, the New York Football Giants are beating the Dallas Cowboys. That's my hope. That's my desire. That's my pick. But hey, it's Thursday night football, and it is absolutely unpredictable. So, let's start off with a little bit of updated news. Um, Something that's outside of college or outside of the NFL. Let's go to college for a second. Uh, I know there are a lot of people that do not like what the NIL has done to college football. I am aware that that has rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. It's taken away what we perceived as the innocence or the purity of the sport of college football. Alabama dominating kind of took away the other half of what people loved about college football. But the reality with this is that paying players or the way that it all came about was just wrong. Now, I am for parts of the NIL. I am all for you making money on what you do. So, if you are a star football player or a college football player and you are asked for your autograph or a company approaches you to sell autographed memorabilia, you should be allowed to make money off of something you sign, something you wear, etc. I am not a fan of the bidding war that is going on. Now, I'm gonna try to level everything with this. College football is still college. It is still first and foremost supposed to be education. And what the NIL has done is taken away the education aspect and really primarily the two sports it's done with basketball but mostly I'd say 90% football is pulled that sport, college football, out of college. It is now legitimately amateur football. But not everybody is getting paid. Here's the other problem. So you got multiple players making millions of dollars at 17, 18, 19 years old. Okay. It is another opportunity for companies to waste their money or people to waste their money. But when it comes to colleges, it's actually an opportunity for coaches, athletic directors, college presidents to waste money that is in the collective from the boosters. This is why we liked not having it. The purity and the innocence of kids playing football, making it to the NFL, made sense. Now, you're just looking for the money. That's it. You're just looking for money. Listen, I understand money's important. I got a family. I've got a big family. I didn't need $300,000 a year at 18 years old. I didn't need $300,000 a year at 20 years old. Really, right now, $300,000 a year would be more than enough with the family I have. It's a lot of money for a college student. And now the issues that are arriving from it being what are scholarships? So you're paying this player now to play for you. They are no longer students, they are now employees. And now this has really made the college scholarship come into question. Because the scholarships were, in a sense, free money, but they weren't being paid by the school. It was part of the scholarship. They're actually paying and having to pull out taxes as an employee of the school now. UNLV. This is why I'm on this rant, because this it bothers me that this happens. University of Nevada, Las Vegas. UNLV brought in a quarterback from Holy Cross on a deal of $100,000 NIL. Has not been paid the NIL money, from what we're being told. This is all reports right now still. Has not been paid what he was told he would get. They are currently 3-0 in the season. UNLV is undefeated so far. He's a solid quarterback, not NFL, but solid. But now he is saying he will not play any more football. Now, here's the problem. We have to be pro player on this. We have to be pro player. Because if you were told you're supposed to get something, you come in, you should be given the money. Where's the money? Why does a school not have the money? Was it a person? Was it an individual? Was it a business? Who was it that put up the $100,000 to bring this kid in? They are responsible for the money that goes into the collective, that was promised to the collective. Where's the money? The player is right. But this is the problem. You're 3-0, haven't paid your $100,000 yet. I don't know what contract was written up. See, whatever contract is written up, all contracts should say X amount of dollars here, the rest at the end of the season. Like 20% at the beginning of the season, the final 80% when the season is over. That way they can't run away from their responsibilities. These are 18, 19, 20-year-old kids. I don't trust them. So, with that being said, it will be interesting to see how all this plays out. But NIL has really, I get why some don't like it. I get why most don't like it. It has made a more competitive landscape because now players are spreading out because you've got players that are now making money, quote unquote, at different places. They're making money at other schools instead of just going to the top school. So it does work. It absolutely does work. It has created a more competitive landscape, but there's always a negative, and here's the negative. Okay. Hawks top 10. As usual, want to point out the graphic for today was done by Draven. He absolutely nailed this one. This is one that he did relatively quickly for me. He's going to be doing a couple more starting next week. But appreciate Draven for creating the graphic for this podcast. Thank you so much, buddy. If you guys need any wallpapers of anything, he actually just did a couple logos and a phone background this past week. You guys need anything like that? Comment down below. I'll get you in touch with him. He is an absolutely fantastic digital artist, and I appreciate all the work that he does for the team and that he does for me more specifically. So big shout out to Draven for the work he does. All right, so the second week of Hawks Top 10. We are heading into week number 4. Last week I said I wasn't a full believer. Well, we got a couple of teams that dropped. We got a couple of teams that I'm going to move up. And we are going to start at number 10. Now remember, these are the top 10 teams, not based off record. These are not based off a record. These are the top 10 teams I believe in the NFL. Record does not matter. These are the 10 best teams that currently in the landscape. All right, number 10. They weren't in it last week, but I cannot argue with their record any longer. I just can't. The Pittsburgh Steelers. My gosh. I had them winning a lot of games early. And looking back, and I said this yesterday. Looking back, I had them going 3-2 in their first 5 games. The early part of their schedule I thought was relatively easy, but I think they're going to be 4-0 after this week. Their defense is outstanding. Justin Fields has not been horrible. And by that, I simply mean this. He is currently at a 72% completion percentage. Currently. Currently at a 72% completion percentage. Okay? At 72%, you're going to win a lot of games. You are going to win a lot of games. And right now, Steelers are winning. And they will probably be 4-0. The offense is not great. I do not want to, the offense is still pretty bad. And until Herbert went out, they were going to lose to the Chargers. The offense is still very suspect. But you got to give credit where credit is due. They are 3-0, looking at a very good chance of being 4-0 after this week against the Indianapolis Colts. So they are number 10 on my list. Number 9, a team that refuses to turn the ball over with the best rookie quarterback in the class through the first 3 weeks that nobody wants to give credit to. The Washington Commanders. The Washington Commanders, new to the top 10, last week weren't there. They are now 2-1, a big win on the road in Cincinnati on Monday Night Football, regardless of the Cincinnati Bengal defense. Because everybody's going to talk about when they lose, oh, they're young, they just got the staff, they're working to get everything all cemented, get everything going. Okay, it's the same reason when they win, guys. They're young. Brand new staff. Brand new lineup, rookie quarterback. And they are playing together. They are going to win together and they are going to lose together. Washington has a scrappy defense, not a great defense by any stretch, but scrappy. But the offense, Jayden Daniels is starting to click with 2 people, McLaurin and Ertz. And guess what? When you're going to start clicking with your 6-foot big-time receiver on the outside, and then the veteran tight end who knows what you need as a quarterback, I kind of like where you're at, especially when you've got legs. And watching the Cincinnati game, this is what I loved. He didn't always run. You know how we always have those quarterbacks like Michael Vick early? We were like, I wish he'd wait and keep his eyes downfield because guys were open. When Vince Young was with the Titans, people said that a lot. He's got to keep his eyes open downfield, but he pulls the ball and runs too fast. Zach Wilson recently had that issue. And then he tried to play Superman ball, which he's not Superman, but nonetheless. Like, there's been a lot of quarterbacks that their eyes drop. I watched in that Cincinnati game, Jayden Daniels keep his eyes downfield. That's a pro quarterback. That's a big-time quarterback that can make plays. Washington at number 9, I feel very, very comfortable with. The team that they're right next to right now, sitting at the top of the NFC East, at number 8 is the Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah. I can't move them up very far. They beat the Saints. The Saints are out of the top 10. That offense, I said I needed something. The offense was anemic. They let up over 400 yards to the Eagles. But here's the thing. They let up over 400 yards to the Eagles. The Eagles got over 400 yards and scored 15 points. Really? Yes, A.J. Brown is still out. The team as it has been is not that strong. You can beat this team without A.J. Brown relatively easily. My thought is very simple. Stop Saquon Barkley and you've got this team done. If Saquon gets injured, this team drops through the floor. Not to the floor, through the floor. Hurts has had to move a lot. The offensive line isn't great at pass protecting. They're better at run blocking. But if they lose Saquon Barkley, they will be in trouble. All right, number 7, the Green Bay Packers. I know I didn't move them around too much. They got the W over the Titans like I thought they would. In fact, it was funny. The guy I played in fantasy football, one of my matchups in fantasy football this week, they had the Titans defense. I had the Packer defense, and the Packer defense absolutely won that individual matchup. Malik Willis goes back to the team's home where he basically just got shoved off in the offseason. Came back 4 weeks later and demolished them. While their quarterback, Will Levis, throws a pick 6, turnovers. And Malik Willis played out of his mind again, giving the Packers time to really, really bring back Love slowly. And as slowly as they want to. Because not great. Not great right now. That's for sure. So, number 7, Green Bay Packers. Number 6, the Los Angeles Chargers. Without Justin Herbert, they're outside the top 10. This team, I contemplated not putting them in, but they were in here last week. The running game, the way they were playing. Here's the thing. That injury to Justin Herbert, and I said it last week, that injury is going to be a nagging injury. If legitimately, just walking, just running back to hand the ball off is how that plantar can get just spike immediately. That's not good. That's not good. It's going to be a nagging injury. And because it's a nagging injury, I really think the Chargers have a lower ceiling than what I thought. Because they're not going to be as diverse without Justin Herbert. It's just that simple. They're not going to be as diverse without Justin Herbert. So there we go. So number 6, the Los Angeles Chargers. All right. Now we've got the top 5. And yes, I will say this week. So the top 5, here we go. The top 5, and this is not in order. I'll just give you the names. Seahawks, Bills, Lions, the Chiefs, and the Ravens. There is a team that I said could be 2 last week if they won in Minnesota. Well, they didn't. Number 6, we're going to number 5. Hold on. Seahawks, Vikings, Lions, Bills, Chiefs. Sorry, the Ravens are not in the top 10 yet. They're at 1 and 2, and they're playing Buffalo this week, and I'm using that game. Sorry, wrong one. The Ravens are at 1-2, and I'm using this week's game against Buffalo to see if they deserve to be back in the top 10, because I think they can be. But I'm going to put the Ravens at 11 and the Texans at 12. So let's talk about the teams right on the outside of the bubble first. Are the Ravens better than the Steelers? Yeah. But they're 1-2. And they're at home on Sunday Night Football against the Buffalo Bills. I need to see they need to win to keep pace easily with the Steelers. Now, the Steelers' schedule gets much tougher. I've said this, it's going to get much tougher. Maybe, though. Maybe. And here's the maybe. The Browns can't get offense figured out because Deshaun Watson isn't a quarterback that's playing the way Stefanski had other quarterbacks playing last year. The Cincinnati Bengals have the 28th defense in the NFL, and they're bad. Last week I had the Bucs in the top 10. They're sitting just behind the Texans. The Buccaneers have a bad defense. It was a grit game against the Lions. Well, the Broncos came out, punched them in the mouth. They got punched in the mouth. I told you they had to avoid that L. Well, now they got Philadelphia coming in. You got to get back up. You got to get back up. But here's where the Texans are outside my top 10 for this week. It's the way in which they lost to Minnesota. Now, I have said, every team gets a bad game a year. You get one. That was a lot worse than the 49ers lost to the Vikings. That was an absolute demolition. The Vikings destroyed the Texans. Stroud looked uncomfortable. The offensive line was off. You get a bad game, but the 49ers played really tough, and the score was right there. The Texans weren't even close. Not even close. So I need the Texans this week to go back, dominate the Jaguars. They'll be back in the top 10 next week at 3-1, leading the AFC South. That's what they got to do. The Ravens need to beat the Bills to get back in the top 10, and the Buccaneers need to beat the Eagles to get a chance to get in the top 10. So, number 6, we took care of. Number 5 is going to currently be the Seattle Seahawks. I don't like how easy their schedule has been. It hasn't been that difficult. Fully acknowledge that. But on the other hand, they're sitting there at 3-0. They just beat Miami. We're going to see what type of team they are on Monday Night Football against the Lions. Seahawks at the Lions. That defense, Mike Macdonald, to his credit, has created another Raven-esque defense. The Ravens defense figured a lot out against the Cowboys. The Seahawks are going to figure out what they need to do to keep moving up against the Lions. I like where they're at. I like what they're doing. Seahawks are at 5. At 4, another 3-0 team, the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings. I don't trust Sam Darnold. I still don't. But I will tell you this. Kevin O'Connell has coached the wildness, the crazy out of Sam Darnold. The reckless is not there. He's following orders. He's following the program. And when you follow the program, good things happen. Some quarterbacks cannot ad lib. Follow the program. Let the coach get you the best possible position to play in. Sam Darnold is playing within that position. They are currently 3-0. The defense is a sack machine. They were even after CJ Stroud, which I didn't think was going to happen, but they were. They look good. Brian Flores has that defense running around. They look good. So Minnesota at number 4. Just above them, the Detroit Lions played the Arizona Cardinals. Here's what they did. They went back to, oh yeah, we're a running team. Yep, you are. And you ran and you played much better on the road in Arizona against a talented Cardinal team. And now you come back home Monday Night Football against the Seahawks. That's 3 of the 4 NFC West opponents out of the way, by the way, in the first 4 weeks. They've now played the Rams, the Cardinals, and they're playing the Seahawks in week number 4. 3 of the 4 NFC West matchups are out of the way early in the season. And that is a very competitive division. They still got the 49ers later this year, which will be in San Francisco. But for now, the Detroit Lions, their offensive line, there's no way they're outside the top 5 teams in the NFL. They dominate that offensive line. Their defense stepped up against the Cardinals. Number one offensive line in the NFL, hands down, without question. They are the number 3 team in the NFL. Number 2, the Kansas City Chiefs. I told you, you don't get passes just because you're Super Bowl champs for that long. I did think about putting Kansas City Chiefs / refs on this one. I'm sorry. That third down play to Kyle Pitts, that was egregiously missed. At the end of a game, you don't go ticky-tacky. You go rule book. Base guarding, arms wrapped around the receiver, no head turned around before the ball gets there. Pass interference, first and goal for the Falcons. That's what should have happened. The Falcons then win. The Chiefs are sitting at 2-1, heading into a road game against the Chargers. Instead, they're 3-0. People are like, yeah, this team's winning and they're not even playing their best. No, this team is atrocious at right tackle, left tackle. The Steelers right now would eat this offense alive. I'm hoping the Chargers defense at home can really get after this team. Because there is a big issue on that offensive line for the Chiefs. The core 3 are okay, but those tackles, outrageously weak. Carson Steele had a very good week, rookie running back from UCLA. Came in, did a fantastic job in fill-in. 17 rushes, 84 yards, I believe is what it was. Absolutely fantastic. Really wanted to see him do well. Evidently, Hunt has been signed from the practice squad, so he's going to be rolled back into the mix. I don't know why, unless they don't like Samaje Perine, but there is no reason Carson Steele is not starting and creating a two-headed monster between himself and Pacheco when Pacheco comes back from injury. So Kansas City Chiefs, number 2. And number 1, the Buffalo Bills. Bills fans have had heartbreak for decades and decades and decades. They are the last 10 years, this decade, as of right now, they are the Indianapolis Colts of the thousands. Okay? They are the Indianapolis Colts of the early 2000s. They're going to win a lot of games. You don't want to play them. they've got a weakness. And only teams that know how to exploit it will beat them. They will beat everybody else. This team now, back-to-back weeks. Week number 1, got the scare. Week number 1, I said that. Had the tough, high-scoring game against the Cardinals. Week number 2, they go ground and defense against the division rival Dolphins. And week number 3, absolutely lambasted the Jaguars. Making the Jaguars think about whether or not they're still a ferocious cat or a kitty cat. Because that was dominant in all aspects of the game. So the Buffalo Bills, for me, are number 1. And that is my top 10 heading into week number 4. There you go. That's it. Yeah. College football rant because of money that slightly ruins / harms the product that we see. And then Hawks top 10. Sounds like a good podcast to me. And that will be all she wrote for today. Tomorrow, as usual, we will do our picks for the weekend. Got everything all set up. Really hoping to bounce back here. Really hoping. Really hoping for another 5-2 or 6-1 week. But these games, they've been tight, they've been close, and I remember I only picked the close ones. And tell you what, they're close for a reason. They are close for a reason. So, can't wait to do that podcast tomorrow night. Have a fantastic Friday. Get through the day and get to the weekend, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow night. Looking into week number 4 with the picks for the week. For Sports Talk with Hawk, I'm Hawk, and I'm out.